everyone, and welcome to Fayette Regional's Health Talk. I'm Charity Moore, and filling in for Doug Fischescher today is guest host Tammy Dowd. Welcome, Tammy.
Thanks, Charity, and thank you for joining us. Health Talk is made possible by TV3 and Fayette Regional Health System. This is a chance for viewers in the Whitewater Valley to get a closer look each month at specific health and wellness topics that affect each of us every day.
And Fayette Regional's Health Talk is also your source for up-to-date health news and events that are important to Connersville, Fayette County, and the entire Whitewater Valley. Leading this edition of Health Talk is the announcement that Fayette Regional will once again offer free mammograms for qualifying participants.
That's right, Charity. This program funds mammograms for uninsured and underinsured women in Fayette, Franklin, Rush, and Union counties. Fayette Regional recognizes the increasing need for community members to have access to educational information and preventative screenings related to breast cancer. Fayette Regional will offer free digital mammogram screenings for women who are over the age of 35, living within our 4 county services with no medical insurance and no access to the service. Fayette Regional also provides supporting education information about mammograms and early detection methods.
With October being the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I had the opportunity to sit down with a really good friend of mine, Trish Smith. She is a 3-year cancer survivor. We talked quite a bit about her journey, not only to survive, but also to thrive. Hi, I'm Charity Moore, and we're on a special assignment here with Health Talk where we have guest Trish Smith. She is a 3-year cancer survivor. We have an opportunity to share your history, your story a little bit here. Most of the viewers probably know that we're good friends, so it's going to feel awkward to ask questions that I already know some of the answers to. But anyway, Trish, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background.
Well, I'm from Connersville, and I have a husband named Joe, and he works at NSK in Liberty, and I have 2 children. Grant Smith is a sophomore here at Connersville High School, and my daughter Marley is a 7th grader.
Can you tell us a little bit about the history that your family has with cancer?
Well, my mother was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and she has been gone now 13 years, so quite a long time. And then my stepmother, Margaret Knight, was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she's been gone about 15 years.
Has it really?
So yeah, so cancer has been, up front and personal in my life, and it's a hard thing to go through. Any family, anybody that's been touched by it, it's, for cancer, it hit home to me.
What prompted you to do self-exams, or have you always done that?
When my mom was diagnosed, she had expressed to me how important it was to take care of myself, to do exams, to go to my annual exam appointment with my gynecologist. And of course, if you go there, they suggest the self-breast exams. I did do them on occasion, maybe not every 3 months or whatever that is recommended, but I would do them. And I happened to be doing a self-breast exam and had found a knot. I had just turned 40, and they recommend that a mammogram's done at 40. So I came to Fayette Regional Hospital, and I had my first mammogram.
So what was that experience like? Because you kind of had an idea something was going on, not sure.
I had come to the hospital. I was by myself, and I saw a technician who was wonderful. Try to calm my nerves a little bit because I was extremely nervous coming in. I thought it was going to really hurt badly. It wasn't too bad. So that was kind of nice, but the technician was reassuring she'd get me through, and when I finished, there was actually a physician on site the day that I did the mammogram, and he didn't feel like when he saw the results that it was looking quite right. So I went immediately across the hall, and we did a ultrasound. And when he saw the ultrasound, he said it didn't look quite right. Now the nerves are really hitting, like,
Right.
starting to well up and thinking this isn't good. So at that point, the doctor recommended a biopsy.
So, after you've done the biopsy, they've come back with a positive diagnosis, which isn't really positive. That's a hard thing to say. What was your next step with treatments? Did you start right away, or?
Well, when they did the diagnosis, the next step for me was to see if I was a gene carrier. If you are a gene carrier, you're 80% chance that you'll have cancer, and a greater chance of reoccurrence.
So tell me a little bit about the chemo treatment that you actually had here at Fayette Regional.
I had my chemo done here at Fayette Regional Hospital, and I came here once every 4 weeks, and I had 6 treatments that I did. And when I would come in, I would go to the cancer center, and they would hook me up on my IV. And what I especially liked here was the individual treatment that I received. I would come in and sit in my chair, and they would get me cozied in a warm blanket, and they would enter the IV, and my family was even allowed to come in with me and help me pass time.
So having the convenience of the Cancer Care Center here probably helped you with perhaps the drive home, not feeling well, not wanting to be on the road?
Yes, definitely. I could leave here and be home in 5 minutes versus the drive after. It wears you out. You're not feeling very well. And when I was brought in and told what was going to happen, they had given me a book, and a nurse had come in and explained what the side effects could be, and meals to try to keep nutrition in me. And if there were ever questions, I could call and they would talk to me, or I could come in and the doctor would see me. So it made it so much more convenient to have it right here in my hometown.
As part of Fayette Regional's continuing efforts in community outreach, we are providing monthly screenings and activities, as well as participating or hosting several events in and around Fayette County.
On Wednesday, October 1st, we will be at the Fountain Place Apartments providing education and activities. We are also going to be at Southview Courts providing blood pressure and blood sugar screenings.
On Thursday, October 2nd, we will be at the SAPA Health Fair providing free screenings and education. On Friday, October 3rd, Fayette Regional will be on hand at the Franklin County football game, supporting their annual alumni night. We will also be cheering on our hometown Spartans to another victory during their annual Pink Out game. Kickoff starts at 7 p.m. at the CHS field. Be sure and stop by our tent for information and giveaways.
On Saturday, October 4th, United Way will be holding their annual fundraiser, Movers and Shakers. Monday, October 6th, Dr. Miller will be speaking at the AARP meeting at Fayette County Senior Center. On Tuesday, October 7th, we will be providing a free lunch and presentation at the Fayette County Senior Center.
On Friday, October 10th, the Chamber of Commerce is hosting the Color Me 5K Glow Run Walk. Saturday, October 11th, we will be sponsoring the Pink Pajama Party located in the Miller Building in Roberts Park. This year's theme is An Evening in Paris. The cost is $20 and is open to all women ages 18 and older. This is a fun time for women to get together and have a fun girls' night out getting pampered. We are limited to the first 125 women, so please contact me at 827-8058 to reserve your spot today.
On Saturday, October 11th, is also the Franklin County Pink Pajama Party. On Saturday, October 11th, there will be a public sale at the Herb Building. Please give us a call at 827-8058 for information. On Tuesday, October 14th, we will be at the Brookville Senior Center providing blood pressure and blood sugar screenings. Then it's time to raise your sleeves for the blood drive being held on Thursday, October 16th in the hospital atrium from 1 to 6.
Also on Thursday, October 16th is the Home Health and Hospice Memorial Service as well as the Hope Center benefit. On Monday, October 20th, we will be at the Southview Courts providing education and activities. There will also be a blood drive at the Heritage House from 12 to 4 p.m. On Tuesday, October 21st, we will be hosting a health fair at Stans.
On Wednesday, October 22nd, we'll be providing activities and screenings at the Fayette County Senior Center. Tuesday, October 28th, there will be a cosmetic enhancement seminar located in Dr. Chager's office. Also, on Tuesday, October 28th, we will be on hand at the Children's Bureau Halloween party in the park. Friday, October 31st, the spooky fun will continue with the trunk or treating at Baptist Temple.
Looking ahead for the month of November, we will be at the Fountain Place Apartments providing education and activities on November 5th. We will also be at Southview Courts providing blood pressure and blood sugar screenings. Then on Thursday, November 6th, we will be on hand at the annual Caregivers Retreat at the Leland in Richmond. Then on Saturday, November 8th, we will be hosting our annual Fall Health Fair located in the John Miller Building in Roberts Park. Be sure to stop by for lots of free health screenings, education, giveaways, and more. The Indiana Blood Center will also be on hand for their blood drive.
We will be providing a free lunch and presentation at the Fayette County Senior Center on Tuesday, November 11th. We will also be celebrating birthdays of November that day as well. Also on November 11th, we will be at the Brookville Senior Center providing blood sugar and blood pressure screenings. Monday, November 17th, we will be at Southview Courts providing education and activities. And finally, rounding out the month of November, we will be providing activities and screenings at the Fayette County Senior Center on Wednesday, November 26th. If you have a group or organization that would like Fayette Regional to provide screenings, education, or activities, please contact Charity at 827-8058 or email charitym@fayetteregional.org.
And when we come back, we will have in our studio guest Dr. James Miller. He is the new orthopedic surgeon here at Fayette Regional.
Fayette Regional is your community hospital, serving the local area for 100 years. Founded in 1913, Fayette Regional has been providing great health care to the Whitewater Valley for a century and giving back to the community with outreach, support, and donations, as well as employing over 600 people in the local area. Fayette Regional, your community hospital.
Welcome back. Joining us today is Dr. James Miller. Welcome.
Thank you.
Dr. Miller, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you came to be with us in Connersville?
I was a graduate of University of Michigan from my medical school and did my residency at Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit. And I did a hand fellowship in Cleveland. And my first job was in Iowa, in the Waterloo area, which I understand there's a Waterloo close to us here. Mm-hmm. And I spent 26 years in the Iowa area, and then I was looking for a new opportunity and ended up here.
Wonderful. Now, I understand you brought family. I have had the pleasure of meeting your wonderful wife, Jody. Can you tell us a little bit more about Jody and children, and just let us know a little bit about your family?
I met Jody in Waterloo area. She was a surgery secretary, and then she was also a surgical scrub. And she got to scrub with me until we got engaged, and then they took her out of my room.
Okay.
We have 5 kids.
Wow.
We have kind of a yours, mine, and ours. And our youngest, the caboose, is Joseph, who is an engineering student at Iowa State University.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Who are your other kids? What are they doing?
The oldest is Brandy. She works for a kind of a telecom company in Iowa. And then Zach is getting married here at the end of this month, and he works for one of the grain companies in Iowa. And then Andrea is working for a company in Des Moines, and my daughter Ayla is working in New York, and then Joseph is going to school.
Wonderful. 5 children, that keeps you busy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Keeping up with them, spread across the states, yes.
So, how are you liking Connorsville?
We've met a lot of nice people, and we've been welcomed in by the community. The folks that we've met have been very gracious, and most of the folks at the hospital I really enjoy working with. They have a great surgery crew. I have a wonderful office help. I've been real fortunate in the jobs that I've held where my office help has just kind of augmented my talents, and this has been no different.
So we know that you're at the football games right now with football season, and we've all got to sit with Jody during the football games. So are you guys big football fans, or is this treachery for you? Or
No. When I was in Waterloo, I was the team doctor for the Waterloo East team, and I did that for 20 plus years. And then when I left from Boone, I was the team doctor too for the high school kids. And no, I enjoy doing it. The kids are fun. We don't see as many injuries these days on the field because I think they're better conditioned, and that's good. And here in Iowa, they've got stricter restrictions on head injuries and concussions, and that's good too. And we enjoy going to the games. It's fun. This is a different Spartan country than the one I grew up in. I grew up in East Lansing, which was the MSU Spartans.
Okay.
So.
wrong colors, or
Yeah, wrong colors.
Wrong colors.
what's your specialty? What do you like to practice the most, or what is actually your strong suit?
I do general orthopedics. In Iowa, I had a lot of total joints, total hips, total knees, and just a smattering of everything else that's general orthopedics. I do arthroscopy, fracture care, ligament injuries. Most of the stuff we see in sports these days usually are ankle, shoulder, or knee, and most of those are usually ligament injuries. Occasionally we see the fractured bones, but not too frequently.
Are your patients typically more on the younger athletic side, or is it our older population?
It's a mix. Right now it's both. In Iowa, it was probably more skewed towards older individuals, and I think as time goes on here, that will probably bear out too, as being a little bit more older individual. Like I said, the kids these days in sports, I mean, they're more active in sports, but I think they're better conditioned, and so you don't see as many sports-related injuries. And the kids usually, they're fun to take care of when they have an injury because they really want to get better fast.
Motivated.
Very motivated.
You did have the opportunity to take care of my son recently, and I'm just going to kind of poke fun at him a little bit because, you know, he thinks he's going to be the NBA star or the NFL star, and so when you didn't recommend that he needed therapy, he thought that was way wrong. I said, no. I said, Riley, you know, Dr. Miller said you have to stretch those muscles because he's growing, and so he's like, no, but he didn't say I needed therapy. I said, this was your therapy, buddy, so I just thought that was a funny story.
Trust the doctor.
That's right. Trust the good doctor.
So you briefly touched, I was going to ask, you briefly touched on the difference in the demographics. So as your practice grows, you are thinking possibly that it is going to be like age range. What age range do you think will be the predominant age range for your practice here in Fayette County?
I think it'll still be a balance of young folks and old folks. You know, I'm kind of getting into the quote unquote the old folks category now, and people are more active these days, and that's helpful for their health as well as for their kind of the orthopedic injuries that they can potentially get. And I just know in the years that I've been working previously that it's been a lot of folks that are probably over age 40 that I take care of, and then you get the high school kids, of course, that kind of mix in there. The 20-year-olds and the 30-year-olds you don't see quite as frequently because they're too busy with their lives to kind of come in and see someone about a problem.
Okay.
So in the older population, do you see more of like the hip replacement, or is it knee related, or and then I guess kind of elaborate on that a little bit.
In that population, you'll see probably 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 knee to hip. It's just been, that's the kind of the general statistics for hip replacement or knee replacement. You certainly see fractures as folks get a little bit older, and a lot of that is fall related, and so there's a lot of education that goes into trying to tell patients to get rid of throw rugs, get rid of extension cords, make sure hallways are clear, and I usually counsel patients on that, especially when I see them for a fracture. And I think there's more recognition these days of osteoporosis in the older individuals, so that basically more people are doing more things to try to maintain their bone mass, to minimize wrist fractures and vertebral fractures and hip fractures. And the family doctors and the internists are doing a good job there as far as trying to educate patients too.
So is there literature there then on site in your office that patients, when they come in, you can hand them something, or?
Usually I will ask them to talk with their family doctor or their internist that they're presently seeing in regards to that. I don't administer a lot of those medications, a lot of those prescription medications. There are some that are parenteral IV type medications, and so I think it's better left up to their family doctor, their internist, who knows them more on a more intimate level as far as the medical problems are concerned.
But as far as educational information, can they get that at your office, or do you
I
refer
usually
them
just
back to their?
I send them back to the family
Okay,
doctor.
Okay.
So truly, in your opinion, it's important for the community to, though, educate themselves on preventative measures prior, so hopefully they may not have to come see you.
That's right.
And that would be both as far as with the elderly population, you mentioned the throw rugs, so maybe mom, dad, making sure when you go over to their home, making sure that those are out of the way, no extension cords, whatnot. And then for the athlete, just making sure that they're safe and they use the proper equipment and all of this.
Yeah, I visited with the basketball coach, or the girls basketball coach at Franklin County, and there's an increasing emphasis on the conditioning that goes in prior to participating in the sport, and he was really big on that, and that makes a huge difference. The kids that are better conditioned, have a weight program ahead of time, they aren't injured as often. It's just it's a proven fact, and so there's a lot more that these days that goes into each sport, and we were talking about that there's not as much overlap. There's not as many kids that are going out for 3 different sports because
Right.
there's so much overlap that they can't. And so in some respects that's too bad for the kids because they can't be a 3-sporter, but at the same time it's good for them in that they're getting all this preparation prior to playing, and it's minimizing their injuries.
Do you deal much with, like, the hype right now with football, obviously, is concussions and things? Is that anything you deal with, or are you just more?
We've had a couple calls in regards to that, and there's kind of a misconception as far as, well, let me just get my youngster in there who's had a concussion or has been concussed, and just have them administer the impact test. And there's a lot more that goes into it. I went to a course up in Indianapolis just a couple weeks ago, and it was a whole day course, and the evaluation of a youngster who's been concussed is pretty extensive. The kids have to be pretty much symptom-free for little to no activities. They have to be symptom-free for more activities. They have to be symptom-free for very physical activities, and then of course there's the impact testing that they can do. And so there's a lot of different stages that kids have to be kind of graduated to the next stage before they can go ahead and participate back in a sport. And I think there's a misconception that, oh, I'll just take this test, and if I pass the test, I'm good to go. But that's just a small part of it. And that was the emphasis of the course, was to say that's just a small part of it. There's a lot more that goes into it.
So are concussions more prevalent now, or is there just more awareness about with media and whatnot as far as concussions and these athletes?
They brought up some statistics about even toddlers. I mean, the small kids that are out there in the football field and the number of high energy blows that they're getting. And it was kind of amazing. They were getting more of them in practice than they were in game situations, and but there's certainly a better recognition of the problem, and that protects the kid. And everybody, all the kids want to play again, and their families want them to play again, but you have to protect the child because the brain needs time to recover just like any other part of the body. It's not, I'm not having hardly any symptoms at all. It has to be no symptoms at all. So you have to rest the brain. So.
You mentioned earlier that you had spoken with the basketball coach at Franklin County, right? So your involvement in Franklin County, has it been significant at this point, or tell me what your role is, I guess, down there with their athletic program?
They already have a doc on the field, Daniel, who is one of the chiropractors in town. He's a great guy. He's had a lot of training in sports and so forth. And my role on the football field is each school has their own trainer, and I'm just there as kind of the consultant, the go-to guy. If you have a question about something, I don't like to interfere with what the trainers are doing. They're very good trainers. They know what they're doing, and they're out there to protect the athlete too. And so I'm just there to kind of, if they have a question they want to bounce off of me, then I'm more than happy to ask, to answer that question. If they want me to look at someone and evaluate them, I'll go ahead and do that on the field too. But I kind of stand back and let them kind of run their game, and that's the way I've done it ever since I've been a high school doc as far as that goes. It's been an effective way of doing it that gives them their freedom to evaluate, and then if they have a question, they come and ask me.
So our trainer is Kelly, is that correct? Or Heather? Heather. So we see her treating an athlete on the sideline, and you're up the field a little bit. No one should really be alarmed because she's quite qualified to take care of it.
Yeah, she is. I mean, if she has a question, and same thing with Scott, who's the Franklin County trainer. If they have a question, they'll come ask me, and they don't have any problem doing that. And it's a very, kind of an equal basis type. I'm not there to tell them what to do, but I'm there to help them out if they need some help, and they know when to ask for help. So they're good trainers.
Good.
Is there anything that you think we're missing in talking with you about your practice? Is there anything you would like to get out there to the community?
The people I've taken care of so far, I've thoroughly enjoyed. I think that's one of the reasons why I gravitated to the Midwest. I grew up in the Midwest, and people in the Midwest they're down to earth, and they're appreciative of care. And there are some places where that's not the case. And the people I've met so far in the month and a half that I've been here have just been nice people, and they're nice to me. So.
Well, I know we are very lucky to have you
are
here.
Very happy to have you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I know we keep you hopping in all the activities we're dragging you
All those
around
photo
to right
shoots and billboards and
now. Health
posters
fairs
yeah.
and interviews. So we really appreciate all the time and effort you're putting into our community. It's very much needed. So thank you.
Well, we like doing it.
And before this segment of Health Talk closes, we do have a few announcements that we're pretty proud of. The March of Dimes and the Indiana Hospital Association recognized Fayette Regional for their work to reduce the number of elective inductions and cesarean deliveries performed before 39 completed weeks of pregnancy. This will give more babies in the Whitewater Valley a healthy start in life.
Also, Fayette Regional was named as a 2014 Professional Research Consultants Incorporated 5-Star Excellence Award winner in inpatient services for discharge information. PRC award winners are recognized annually for their achievements in improving patient experiences, healthcare employee engagement, and/or physician alignment based on perceptions obtained through surveys of patients.
And lastly, Emily Foster, staff developer at the Care Pavilion, received the IARCCA Bobby Jones Staff Development Award. And that's all the time that we have today. We look forward to everyone joining us again next time on Fayette Regional's Health Talk. I'm Charity Moore.
And I'm Tammy Dowd.
Stay healthy, Connorsville.